Hi, it's Jason from Fraser Valley Rose Farm. Today I want to make a video with some close-ups to show you how to deadhead your roses. Now it's important to know that when I reach out and snap off a deadhead from one of my roses, I'm not just doing it to make the plant look tidy. I'm doing it because I'd like to get more blooms more quickly after it's finished with these ones. Now, if I were just doing this for tidiness, many roses will drop petals all on their own, or you could walk by and give the stem a shake, it would drop a bunch of petals, but that would be missing the whole point of removing this entire flower head, including the green base, which is where the rose will send its energy to try to develop hips or seeds after flowering, and that will delay the return to flowering on your roses. I'm going to insert some footage of different kinds of deadheading now, but that first kind where you just walk around and pluck flowers off of those single blooming varieties when you don't have tools in your hand, it can be quick and oddly satisfying to remove those and just drop them on the ground or in a bin and put them into the compost. However, having a tool in your hand can allow you to do something else while you're deadheading. That is, if you have flowering stems that are finished and you want to improve the shape, size, or health of the rose as you're going along, you can cut back a little bit further and you can basically take care of some of the refreshing pruning while you're deadheading your roses. I will say also at this point that there are some roses, of course, that bloom singly mostly, and those are very good for plucking off one rose at a time. But when you have a full flower cluster that you're looking at, it's often better as a labor-saving technique not to pluck them off singly, but to wait until the whole cluster of flowers has bloomed out, and then you can cut off the entire flower head. Now, I can well imagine that somebody new to the rose hobby might think that this is a little overwhelming to see hundreds or thousands of blooms in their garden and think, I have to pluck off each and every one of these after it blooms. Well, that's not entirely the case. Certainly the amount of effort you put into deadheading is a personal judgment call, but there are cases where it might not be worth your time. Examples of roses where it might not be worth your time are like the wild or species roses, those ones that bloom only once in the spring no matter what you do. This is the same for those old garden ramblers and old garden roses of Europe that are single blooming in the spring. No amount of deadheading will make them repeat their blooms better. It's also of questionable value to individually deadhead things like the knockout or landscape roses that bloom in profusion, drop their petals cleanly, and ultimately rebloom fairly well all on their own. I probably can't do a full video on deadheading without talking about leaflet count. And if you look way down here at the base of the rose, what you're going to find is that the natural leaflet count on the structural part of the rose has 5 leaflets per leaf, something like that. Whereas up here by the flower, oftentimes it reduces down to 3 leaflets per leaf. Some of the standard advice you'll hear is not to go ahead and clip the flower up here at the top, but to go further back on the stem, back beyond where it has 3 leaflets per leaf and back down to where it has 5 leaflets per leaf. Now what you'll also notice is that because this is a young plant and it was kind of gangly and leaning, that bringing it back down that actually improves the structure, and you're not limited to how far back you want to bring it. So if I want to cut it way down here, that's totally fine, and that prepares me for a better structure on the rose and cleans it up for future blooming. So in summary here, doing your deadheading is a way of encouraging the roses to give you more flowers sooner, but it also has the side benefits of making a cleaner garden appearance and giving you a chance to give yourself some extra touch-up pruning during the season to improve shape, size, and health of the shrub. As a final note, I will say that this stem that I just took off is a great place for me to engage in my propagation hobby. So I just cut off the extra nodes here, some extra leaves. I can dip this in rooting hormone and put it into potting soil. I'll show you how to do that in other videos. I'll link that above here, but it is a great way to get material that's in the right stage to get semi-hardwood cuttings if you want to approach that part of the hobby. All right, that's all I have to say to you today about deadheading. Please drop your comments down below the video and I'll see what I can do to help if you have any questions.